Hi, I'm Dory with Prairie Scraps, and I'm going to do a little fix and sort of mashup of what do you do when your ink runs and you're trying to make embroidery patterns. So I don't know if it's because this fabric is too thin, but you could see that my embroidery, oops, wrong side. My ink ran a little bit around the letters. And I don't want to embroider this if it's going to show like it looks like runny ink. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to use a little bit of watercoloring technique with this to see if I can get it to kind of fix it and draw your attention away from it. So what I'm going to do actually is take some of our ink and use it like a watercolor technique. And so I use our chalks all the time for watercolor, and I've definitely painted with our inks like on t-shirts and things, but this is a new thing that I'm just trying to see if I can fix up what my problem is here. And basically I use our chalk paste or chalk ink with our transfers and make my own patterns for embroidery. So I'll just, I like to put it on with ink because I know it's not gonna, and I'm gonna try to get right there kind of hard. So, and I did one other one because I actually had two of them that ran. So I'm thinking it's because of this really thin fabric. So I'm gonna take the kind of the strong parts of this ink here. This is Storm that I'm using over, what was the color called? Something about blue, blue something or other. But, and basically I'm just going to use it like a watercolor. I'm putting spritzing a little bit of water in the lid and just using the bits and pieces of my, watercolor on there just to make it, the background kind of colored in. And the cool thing is now I can go in, I can embroider this entire piece, and I could still see my blue part. I hadn't thought that I would be covering up any of the blue because I thought I would, maybe some of them leave kind of a mixed media, leave some of them just ink and not actually paste over it, or not actually embroider over all of the letters. But since I'm too cheap to, and I'm gonna just add some water in here to try to mix it in a little bit better. And I'm okay with this over here kind of looking like I painted it on because I actually am. So we'll see. I'll just kind of go around the outside edge here. And like I said, I thought I would leave some of these letters ink in the blue, but now that I've had the leakage, I think, my time is up for that. So I'm just keeping it a little bit wet. And what happens is, actually the first layer, the Love More part, once I got that down with ink and saw that it had leaked, I went ahead and heat pressed it with an iron. And then so that part, the Love More is actually permanent. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take off a little bit of it here off the blue. So it's a little bit brighter blue. It doesn't look like it's been, like it's painted over. It's going to be the other way around. It'll look like I had painted underneath it. And I think there's enough water here in my wipe that I can just go ahead and get off as much as I can off the letters without, ruining my piece. So the biggest thing is I'm just trying to draw attention from the fact that I made a mistake, and it happens, and everything is fixable and it's going to be okay. I didn't want to waste this. I could just throw it away. And I guess I was thinking, well, if I have to, I can just go ahead and throw this away. It's a piece of scrap cloth. It's a rag if I need to be, if I need to go that far. But I was hoping to salvage it, even though it looked kind of crazy. Oops, and I could see where, now around the outside edge, it looks to me like here, it's kind of spreading a little bit. So I'm just going to go very lightly with just water and spread it a little bit around the outside edge. I don't want it to draw out entirely, but I also don't want it to look like, oh, here, I got too much water. I do have this on one of our ink mats just because I want to make sure that it, and we're just blending in here. Like I said, I'm blending it in. I think that actually kind of covers. I'm just going to go into that a little harder into that ink and just get this below the R here, because that was the really worst part. Maybe a little bit between here to get that blue covered up that's outside the lines. I was afraid if I went ahead and embroidered and did it on the letters, it was going to show up around the outside edges, that I kind of had a sloppy pattern underneath, and I didn't want the pattern to show underneath. So I'm just going over it now. And like I said, I've already heat pressed this to make sure that it's sealed. And then once I get this gray part, let me show you that. Isn't that cute? And actually, you can't even tell. You really cannot tell. That pretty much fixed it. Can you see that? So thanks for joining. Make sure you follow and like all my places, YouTube and Facebook. It's Dory with Prairie Scraps. Have a great day.